Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, please call the roll.
Senators Bridges, Cook, Corum, Court,
Excused.
Crowder, Danielson, 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 Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Foot,
Absent.
Gardner, Janal, Gonzalez, Hill, Heisey, Holbert,
Excused.
Lee, Lundeen, Marble, Moreno,
Excused.
Pedersen, Priola, Rankin, Rodriguez, Scott, Smallwood,
Excused.
Sonnenberg, Story, Tate, Todd, Williams, Winter, Woodward, Zenzinger,
Please add Senator Foote to the roll call.
Nobody? Mr. President,
Here. With 32 present, 0 absent, 3 excused, we have a quorum. Senator Bridges, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How do you confuse a majority leader? Put a bunch of flags up.
Adoption of the journal. Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the reading of the journal be dispensed with and it be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Mr. Carpenter, please add the minority leader to the roll call. Senate Services.
correctly printed, Senate Bill 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, and 105, correctly enrolled, Senate Joint Resolution 1.
Signing bills.
The President has signed Senate Joint Memorial 1.
Announcements. Senator Janal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues on the Local Government Committee, we have a SMART Act hearing today at 1:30 in the Old State Library. That's room 271. So please be there at 1:30. And, Mr. President?
Senator Janal.
Thank you. One more announcement. Today is Aging Caucus Lunch and Learn. It's put on by the Strategic Action Planning Group on Aging as well as the Alzheimer's Association. And there will be lunch. It's from 12 to 1 in the in room 352. So I hope to see you there. Thanks.
Senator Lee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee has a SMART hearing tomorrow on adjournment in the old Supreme Court chamber. All Finance Committee members are invited to attend. and there is no Judiciary Committee today. Thank you.
Mr. Carpenter, please add Senator Smallwood to the roll call. Senator Fields.
Good morning, Mr. President. I have two announcements for our members. First of all, those of you who are on the Capital Development Committee, we're meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow in Senate Committee Room 357. And then also tomorrow, the Colorado Children's Campaign is having their annual breakfast at the Colorado Capitol. It's going to be in the Rotunda on the West Foyer. They're going to have some chicken and waffles, and they're going to have a coffee cart, and they're going to be talking about the current trends as it relates to well-being of kids in the state of Colorado. So please join us tomorrow.
Senator Woodward.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an announcement. The Statutory Revision Committee is meeting tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. in room 352.
Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. President. State Affairs, our first meeting is coming up upon adjournment of both houses, because it's our joint State Affairs Smart Hearing and LSBA. So upon adjournment of both houses, State Affairs Joint Smart Hearing, LSBA. We'll see you all there. And if you're not on State Affairs, you can come and watch.
Senator Crowder.
Mr. President, a moment of personal privilege.
Senator Crowder, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd just like to bring to your attention what I observed today. Just a block away down here on 14th, there's a bunch of homeless campers there, and the police are in there. It looks like they're clearing them out. And I understand, there's a lot of movement in the state to try and solve this. And I will tell you, I don't have a lot of definition on how things work in the metropolitan area. But I think it's incumbent upon this body to come up with some type of fixation or solution for these people that have no homes. And I believe that we can do it without actually burdening the taxpayer, and I don't know how. But I would ask for those that, have this, the reality is we are of the same species, and this type of situation does need to be curtailed or come to an end somehow. But I would ask people of this body to try and think about ways to improve this situation, whether it's barracks living or whatever the situation is. I don't know that we can actually come up with a home for every homeless person in the country, but in observing this down here across from the Ralph Carr building, it made an impact on me. What do we do? And I think I understand I understand we're all busy, but I think this is an important issue that maybe this body should take a hard look on how we can actually move this forward for this issue, because it's only going to get worse if we don't come up with some solutions. Our towns and cities, they're trying to come up with what they can do for this, but it might take a state effort. But I would just bring this to your attention and let you think about it. Thank you very much.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request to be excused Friday, January 17th for personal family business. I have conferred with the minority leader, the majority leader, who was most enthusiastic about my absence, and therefore I submit my request to the President.
Senator Gardner will be marked excused. On that point, members, I just want to remind you that those are subject to approval, so please make sure you either consult with the minority leader or the majority leader, and to do your due diligence to make sure that the secretary is notified, as many of you have been doing. That is good, and we will mark you excused accordingly. Further announcements? Seeing no further announcements, Mr. Majority Leader.
Got something? Thank you, Mr. President. I have no announcements today, other than thanking everyone for their timeliness today and being on time for our important business of the morning. To both sides of the aisle. That is true. Mr. President, we have nothing else to do, but we will be reading over bills this afternoon, so we'll be recessing. Members, again, you do not need to be here. You can be here, but you do not need to be here. I move that the Senate stand in recess until 12 p.m. today.
You have heard the motion. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the Senate will stand in a recess until 1200 today.
you.